Welcome to the second episode of OP Talks. This is Manish Kumar for Orissa Post Live. At a time when most of the Indians are at their homes and have increased their usage of mobiles and laptops, different cyber fraudsters have also intensified their attack. In today's episode, we are joined by Mr. Prashant Mali, who is a cybersecurity expert and a lawyer based in Mumbai. Mr. Mali, thanks a lot for joining Orissa Post Live on this special conversation on the issue of cybersecurity.
Thank you very much.
As an expert on cybersecurity and a practicing lawyer, do you think there has been a surge in the numbers of cybercrime cases in the last few months, especially if we talk about this lockdown period?
Because traditional crimes have grown less, the only amount of crimes which has been raised in almost up to 84% of the crimes whichever are happening right now are cyber crimes. And the rest are obviously due to the lockdown or something of that sort. And if you break those 84% further, like what are those crimes? Majority of them are financial frauds via phones, via apps, and the others are like abuse, Facebook abuse, social media abuse, and majority definitely are due to frauds, and that causes a lot of financial distress amongst citizens.
So, what are the most common forms of cybercrime cases that you have noticed in the last few months?
The common type of cybercrime which is seen now in the COVID times is those fraudsters are sending COVID or corona-related links to people, and via that they are inserting malware into the laptops or mobile phones, hacking the whole phone, taking the whole control, and doing different series of frauds like taking out money from the bank account, taking out money from credit cards, compromising social media accounts. All these different types of frauds one by one are getting reported.
Mr. Mali, this banking frauds and this phishing attacks, we have already heard about these cases in different media reports. But do you think in the last few months, especially in the last 2 months, there has been a change in the types of cyber crimes conducted by these cyber fraudsters?
See, frauds are older, but the techniques to commit these frauds are new. Like using of malware in the pretext of COVID is new. Account takeover of YouTubers or social media guys is new, and then selling it further is new. Pornography related crime, which I'm saying is after COVID has increased because people are sitting there. Pornographic videos have been sent to people, and then return videos are been made by hacking the front camera, and then blackmailing is done that we have sent you this porn, you are watching the porn, and then you're doing some sexual activity that has been recorded. We will publicize this or will upload it to various sites instead of you paying us back. So such kind of pornography related, and this is happening with even kids. Friend request has been sent via social media accounts, and then this pornography related thing is been taken. So pornography related crimes in the COVID has increased along with financial crimes.
Can you give us more details about whom to approach when a person becomes a victim of any kind of cyber frauds?
There are two things. One is they should visit to a website called CERT-in, CERTIN, that is India CERT, India Computer Emergency Response Team. There is a lot of advisory over there. Under this advisory, you'll specifically come to know about what has happened. Two is there's another website of Government of India which is under MHA, which is called cybercrime.gov.in. So you can report any crime what has happened on this website online, and then they'll take up with your local police and things can be taken further.
Mr. Mali, many threats are now emanating from the misuse of these cameras which are now easily available on laptops or smartphones. how a user of a laptop or smartphone can ensure that their camera is not misused or hacked by these cyber fraudsters and their privacy is not invaded by them?
Very good question you have asked. I am being advocating something which you can see here on my thumb. This is a small sticker which you can apply to your camera. This small sticker, orange color thing, what you're seeing, you can apply to your laptop camera, to your desktop camera, or to your mobile phone camera. Now, this sticker is easily available. Now, this is a small part of sticker which is available in the stationery shop easily. This is used to stick onto the files. So you can remove this and apply. So this practically, even if your phone is hacked, people will see only orange color. So why I'm saying this specifically sticker, because in spite of sticker, then your face can be recognized. So they can't record a video, but your face can be recognized for face recognition locks.
Mr. Mali, from this discussion, what I get a feeling that you are trying to say that cameras or any part of the digital equipment could not be trusted because most of them are now vulnerable to hacking or some kind of misuse by these cyber fraudsters. Am I right in my belief or whatever you are saying?
Everything is prone, like even NASA gets hacked, Pentagon gets hacked, US government, US elections get hacked. So there are always some other loopholes which get created. It's not because of you. It could be because of the software you're using. It could be because of the hardware you're using.
During this lockdown period, a lot of people are now at their homes. Many of them are using video conferencing platforms to connect to their friends or for some office works. But recently, the Indian government had issued an advisory of not using certain video conferencing platforms for video conferencing. Can you explain to us which video conferencing sites could be trusted and which could not be or should be avoided?
I have gone public against an app called Zoom. Zoom has many vulnerabilities. It exposes privacy-related issues. People can log in. Login IDs of Zooms are available in darknet. Anonymous logins on Zooms were possible. There's so many such privacy violations which happened, and the most important which gets discussed is the ownership of the Zoom app, or they authentic uploading, downloading certain thing in China-based servers. So that creates a lot of privacy-related violations or doubts in the minds. All the apps specifically not used for years or not coming from good companies should be avoided. Rather, specifically from coming from China. Apps like WebEx or Google Meet, these are the apps which can be used. Some versions, even WhatsApp gives you conferencing for I think 4 to 6 people. So that can be used because what people are comfortable on WhatsApp, and encryption of WhatsApp is really good.
Mr. Mali, the last question of today's show is how an owner of a smartphone or an owner of a laptop can ensure privacy of their data and their personal life when they're accessing smartphones and laptops.
People should not excessively click on links which they get in WhatsApp or SMS or email. People should not download many apps which are not trusted apps or new apps where there are not much of reviews there. People should not keep details like password, PIN numbers, Aadhaar card numbers, PAN numbers in their mobile contact list. People should not use a specific software called Truecaller because Truecaller then has all the the contact list on their servers, or Truecaller like apps which want your contact list. People should not use not do banking transactions when they are on free Wi-Fi. People should not share any details what they receive as a two-factor authentication on their mobile via voice calls. So there are all these precautions if they keep. I think a mobile remains secure. They should constantly update their mobile phone software and avoid sharing the mobile phone device itself, even in the family.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Mali, for joining our Post Live
Thank
and
you
shed
very much.
light on some of the important issues relating to cybersecurity.